Okay, so we're going to set up our chords on SongMaker for our performance of our samba. So you have this document in Shobi. This document is a PDF file, and it has, most importantly for you doing this exercise, the chords at the top. So there are your chords, okay? So what we need to do is think about our settings on Chrome Music Lab, okay? So we go to settings. We want as many bars as possible, which is 16, which very handily is the same amount of bars that we need for the chords in this piece. We are okay with 4 beats per bar, because if you look, we have 4 beats per bar here. 2 beats per bar, 2 quaver beats per crotchet is absolutely fine. Major, we need chromatic instead, please. That's because we need a wider range of notes. I want you to start low because I want to have a wider range of pitch, and I want you to start on F, and the reason for that is because our first chord is F minor and all the chords move up from there. I'd like you also to have 3 octaves to make sure that we have the range for that one. Here we go. So make sure you come all the way to the bottom, and you can see this is now a chromatic chord, okay? So this chromatic chord, these chromatic notes, there's now 12 of them. It's a lot more notes than we've worked with before, but we have to think in terms of semitones. So if you think on a piano keyboard, each note is a semitone apart. It's the same here. So here's F, okay, there's our F. Turn the volume up. There we go, there's F. So F is our first chord, we know that, okay. Our next chord is C, so F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, okay? Our next chord after that is B flat. So if we have a C here, then we go down to B, B flat, and then E flat. So the problem being is obviously F is the bottom note, so we need to go up. So if you think C, C sharp, D, E flat, or D sharp. So it's a second note from the top, and we want it here. So that's the bottom note of all our chords. Now you could go through and put all the bottom notes in first if you wish, but we need to stack the chords as well. So first of all, we need F minor 7. Okay, now I have given you a very short, very small little picture which is going to help. Okay, so those are the notes. You can see the colours of the blocks, and you can also see the notes involved. Okay, so first of all, F, A flat, C and E flat, and you can see the colours there, and you can actually see there's a pattern for the first 3 chords. There's a pattern, and this is the pattern of the minor chord, and you can see actually if I zoom in on it, and the noise in the background is my cat playing with my guitar strings. I apologise. Okay, so we have F. Can you see there's 2 blocks there? Then there's 3 blocks space, and then 2 blocks. And that is the pattern for all these first 3 minor chords. So we have 2 gaps. There's our A flat. 3 gaps. There's our C. 2 gaps. And there's our E flat. Let's go again. So we have 2 spaces, then we have 3 spaces, then we have 2 spaces, 3 spaces, 2 spaces, then 3 spaces, and then 2 spaces again. Now the last one is slightly different because it's actually a major chord. If you look here, there's no little M. It's not a major chord. It's not a minor chord, sorry, it's a major chord. So let's look back at our picture. Okay, so if I look back at our picture here, this time we've got 3 gaps and then 2, 2, and that's the pattern of a major chord. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so there we have our patterns. All right, so that is our pattern for our chords. Now some of you are saying, well, why are there 4 notes in these chords? We're only used to having 3 notes in the chords that we've used so far. And that's because these these chords here have these little sevens on, and that means this chord has an extension. So we have a chord extension. And if you were playing this in the key of F minor, F would be the first note, so that's number 1. A flat would be the third note, okay, number 3. C would be the 5th note of that scale, which is 5. And then the 7 is the E flat, which is why it's a chord extension to E flat, okay? So we've got our first 4 bars in, nice and straightforward. So let's look at what we need to do next. We'll scroll. There's our bar 5 starting here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, we've done 5. It's an F minor again. If you need to get your picture up, get your picture up. That's fine. Make sure that you know what you're doing. And so it's going to be, make sure you scroll all the way to the bottom. If you make mistakes, don't forget you just literally click on them again to get rid. C minor again. So let's start with C. We know this is C. And we know the pattern, miss 2, miss 3, miss 2. And then we're back to F again, which is nice because it's on here. Now, when you've got that F here, we have another empty bar. Now, there's no chord here, and actually the chord's going to be, if you look, for some reason there's no chord here, but it should be, if you see, look at the patterns, it actually matches to the C. So for some reason there's no chord, but that's okay. We know it's a C, so let's put a C in. So we're back up to the C. And then here, back down to the F. Okay, so this is the beginning of where the melody starts again. Now this bit's a little bit trickier because it doesn't happen on the first beat of the bar, and actually there's 2 chords here as well. So what we need to do is bring up another photo I've got, which I've taken, and this is called the tricky bit. And you can see there's our F, and then we have those other 2 chords, and you can see they're not on the beginning. Okay, so let's zoom in a bit. So these are the chords we're going to use, and you need to notice where it's happening. So we can look at this as well on here, because there's a C minor, the chord changes on the 4th quaver of the bar. So we need it to be on the 4th quaver of the bar, and these blocks are all quavers, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's our C, that's where we want that to happen. The B minor, notice it's not B flat, it's B minor. We need that on the 7th quaver. So we want that here, and we want it just the next semitone down, and then we go to the B flat. You can see that it is on the first beat of the bar. So there's your B flat. So if we go back to our little picture, you can see we've got that parallel movement going down. So once you know your pattern, actually it's just then the next block down. So let's do our C chord, miss 2, miss 3, miss 2, miss 2, miss 3, miss 2, miss 2, miss 3, miss 2. So now we have our little pattern that moves in parallel, and it's also syncopated. So for those of you that did the composition tasks on Focus on Sound, if you remember, there was a lesson on parallel movement and there was a lesson on syncopation, which means off the beat, which these chords are. So let's finish off. So we have there our B minor, B flat minor, that's where we've got to. So we've only got a few more bars to go till the end. We need an E flat. So we know that that's an E flat there. A miss 2, miss 3, miss 2. Okay, there's our pattern. We now want F again. We know F, but we need to make sure we scroll down to the bottom because E's quite high. Miss 2, miss 3, miss 2. And then if we look, we're going to C, F, C to finish. So there's our F. Let's do our C. Miss 2, miss 3, miss 2. F, we know it's there. We can copy it. And then the last one, C here, and you can see it is the last one in the bar, in the whole set. So, when you've done that, it should sound like this. Now, I don't like the marimba sound, so I'm going to change that. I'm going to change that to the piano and see what it sounds like then. I think that might be slightly better. I think that's better. It's a bit jazzier. There's your syncopation. Okay, so that's our 16 bars of chords. That's your first step. The next video will show you how to create all the rhythms. Now, if you need to, and you haven't got enough time to do it all together and you need to have a break before you come back to this, do not forget to press save, copy your link, and then put that somewhere safe. Save it somewhere, because then you can go back to it ready for the next stage and the next video.